our border crossings with Afghanistan and Central Asia. Yet while we reach out with economic vision, some in the region retreat into strategic myopia. The idea of an east-west economic corridor connecting Central Asia, Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan and India is not new. But for it to become a reality, the idea must evolve from aspiration to actionable policy, backed by political will and mutual trust. The report rightly observes that infrastructure is not the bottleneck, politics is. And here lies the crux of the matter. Connectivity cannot thrive in an environment of coercion, occupation, and hegemonic ambition. Regional peace is the first prerequisite for regional trade. Pakistan stands for peaceful coexistence, regional integration, and mutually beneficial cooperation. Our foreign policy is anchored in geoeconomics, and our national development model, Udan Pakistan, places connectivity, trade, and sustainable growth at the heart of our strategy. We recognize the immense potential that regional corridors offer. A land-based east-west economic corridor could enhance access to Central Asia energy markets, promote trade, reduce transaction costs, and help address structural poverty across the region. But for that to happen, all states must act as responsible and willing stakeholders, respecting sovereignty, honoring commitments, and abandoning adventurism. A reality check on regional trust, and if we have a reality check on the regional trust, we will see that regional connectivity is a two-way street. Corridors cannot grow while borders are blocked. Access to markets cannot happen with treaties suspended. And we cannot have regional stability while we engage in provocations. India's recent actions have once again brought to light an inconsistent and irresponsible posture towards regional integration. Instead of fostering regional integration, it has pursued a strategy of exclusion, unilateralism, and militarization. Its continued denial of the legitimate rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the unilateral abrogation of Article 370, and its obstruction to SAARC processes have rolled back the regional integration agenda by decades. Despite benefiting from transit access to Afghanistan through Pakistani territory, and despite our facilitation of Afghan-India trade via Wagah in the past, it continued to escalate tensions rather than build trust. Most recently, India's unilaterally suspension of its obligations towards the Indus Water Treaty, a treaty that has endured since 1960 despite many wars between India and Pakistan. This reckless step reflects a troubling disregard for international norms and regional stability. Pakistan, on the other hand, has consistently demonstrated restraint, maturity, and commitment to economic decoupling from political tensions. Even during recent tensions, we did not suspend the Afghan transit trade for long and allowed its resumption shortly thereafter, a gesture of goodwill and regional responsibility. Pakistan has kept its doors open to dialogue, but normal relations cannot be restored in the absence of justice, dignity, and respect for international law. Economic corridors cannot operate in a vacuum. They require a foundation of trust. And trust, I must say, cannot be built with fencing, fire, or force. It must come through honest engagement, equitable treatment, and responsible statecraft. While others hesitate, Pakistan has already demonstrated what responsible regional leadership looks like. Through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, we have shown how strategic vision, political commitment, and institutional coordination can deliver real results. CPEC has given Pakistan a modern road network, revitalized energy infrastructure, and deepened regional linkages. It has also created a blueprint for how multilateral connectivity projects should be designed transparently, inclusively, and sustainably. And now, with CARIC corridors directed westwards, Pakistan is uniquely positioned to serve as a bridge between South Asia, Central Asia, Middle East, and Western China. Let me also state clearly, Pakistan welcomes the participation of all partners, regional or global, in the development of such corridors, so long as the engagement is grounded in mutual respect, shared benefits, and strategic balance. The success of CPAC shows that when partners share goals, respect sovereignty, and work collaboratively, even the most ambitious connectivity plans can be realized. I would like to here in this situation also acknowledge the leadership of President Trump for saving South Asia from a wider conflict and bringing an end to war and urging both sides to negotiate peace and peace through trade. I think it is a welcome initiative of United States. Ladies and gentlemen, some argue that current tensions preclude any economic engagement, but this reasoning does not stand the test of global precedents. Take the example, Ambassador gave example of China and India, and let me give another example of United States and China, two nations that have profound strategic differences and divergent worldviews. Yet, they are each other's largest trading partners. They have managed so far to keep economics and politics on separate tracks by remaining engaged. The key is engagement. The difference, however, is critical. Neither side has escalated by violating sovereignty or unilaterally suspending binding international treaties, as India has done in this region. Our position is principled. We are open to trade, open to dialogue, but not at the cost of our sovereignty, dignity, or legal rights. The report being launched today proposes a series of phased steps towards an East-West economic corridor, which is a very pragmatic approach. Let me highlight a few that I strongly support. Start small. Confidence-building measures such as digital connectivity, logistics standards, and academic collaboration can pave the way for broader frameworks. To create an inclusive governance mechanism, the idea of an East-West Economic Corridor Association is worth exploring, provided it ensures equal representation and consensus-based decision-making. But here again, I would, support what Ambassador Raza Mohammed said, that we have example of SAARC, and since 2016, SAARC summit is hostage to India's non-cooperation, and it is not letting SAARC summit take place, which was supposed to take place in 2016 in Pakistan. So it has been, obstructing. And I always tell my Indian friends, what is the trouble? The trouble is that if you only had 1/4 the size of your geography, size of your heart, this region would be very different. So, unfortunately, we are caught in a situation where in India, political leadership uses paranoia about Pakistan for their domestic legitimacy. I've been in politics since 1993. It is 30 years now. And it is for the consideration of Dr. Rafiq Dosani that they might want to do another research project that, if you look at the psychology of those countries in the world which have thousands of years of roots in history, no country has felt so insecure about itself like India feels insecure about itself. Pakistan, which has a history of only 77 years, Pakistan did not have any root in history, whether geographic or ethnic or any other root as a nation state. So we are just a 77-year-old state. But I do not recall a single election in Pakistan in my past 30 years where any Pakistani politician has used India card to arouse sentiments of the voters to get some political legitimacy. India has been absent from all our elections since last 30 years. All our elections are contested on local issues. But if you look on Indian side, you observe that on in each and every election, and before each and every election, whether national or state elections, they use Pakistan as a bogey or some kind of a hate card to get their domestic legitimacy. And that is why शायर ने कहा कि सरहदों पे बहुत तनाव है क्या, कुछ पता तो करो चुनाव है क्या. So every time there is चुनाव in India, सरहदों पे तनाव क्यों हो जाता है? Because the leaders in India still feel somehow that they need Pakistan bashing in order to get their domestic support or domestic legitimacy. Now, India is not part of our political discourse at all. We are a smaller country, much smaller country, and much newer country. And India has a history of centuries in history. Is 7 times big, 1.5 billion population, and yet it feels so insecure that every time they are either nearing state elections or they are close to general election, they need to whip up this anti-Pakistan sentiment in order to keep their domestic base together or unified. So I think what is this psychology? Maybe Rand Corporation needs to undertake some research project and also educate itself, the world and us also. So we would like to know that what's happening. Why is India carrying that insecurity in its national psychology, that it's so obsessed and paranoid about Pakistan? But I think time has come that we must rise above these things, because it is not just India and Pakistan, it is future of the whole South Asia that is at stake. And unless we can resolve these issues and allow regional integration, prosperity will not come to this region.
वफाकी वज़ीर मंसूबाबंदी और तरक्की अहसन इकबाल इस्लामाबाद में तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान इलाकाई रवाबित को फ़रोग़ दे रहा है। नई मंडियों तक रसाई के लिए इलाकाई ताउन ज़रूरी है। मुश्तरका मफाद पर मबनी ताउन का फ़रोग़ हमारी ख़ारजा पॉलिसी का बुनियादी सतून है। उन्होंने कहा कि भारत में हर इलेक्शन के मौके पर सरहदों पर कशीदगी होती है। पाकिस्तान एक ज़िम्मेदार रियासत है। हमने सियासत के लिए कभी भारत कार्ड इस्तेमाल नहीं किया। पाकिस्तान इलाकाई रवाबित को फ़रोग़ दे रहा है। पीटीपी न्यूज़ से ये थी अब तक की ताज़ा तरीन खबर।
के बाद धरना खत्म करवाया और मुल्जिमान की जल्द